Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the Tin Man's Core channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'll be reacting to my third and final scary storyteller channel for y'all. And this one is Night Time Spooks. And the video that I picked out to watch is 3 True Zoom Call Horror Stories. So without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road and in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go.
This happened just last week. I'm a female college student, and I live in a dorm on campus.
Okay.
Due to COVID-19, we've had to have classes mainly online.
Yeah, that was a terrible time, especially for the college students. They had to do all their learning through Zoom call meetings with their teachers or just remote learning and just send all their work to the teacher's email. But then there's a lot of people that like to pull those pranks on YouTube where they hack into a Zoom call. But anyway, let's continue with this person's story and see what happens next.
I only have 2 in-person classes. Anyways, most of my online classes meet through Zoom. I had an econ class where we were having a meeting, and the professor broke us into small groups to discuss a topic. There was probably between 50 to 100 kids in that class. I'm not really sure, but I know there was a lot. So we would go into these breakout rooms occasionally, where there would be about 5 to 10 of us to discuss topics or do group work. As soon as we got into the groups, I noticed one of the kids in my group had on a creepy looking scream mask. I knew it was some kid trying to be funny, so I told him nice mask and then got on with the discussion. He didn't respond when the rest of us started talking and remained quiet the entire time. We all got kind of annoyed with him, and I outright asked him if he was going to do anything.
Yeah, I'll be asking that myself because even though you're at home, you still got to do the schoolwork and not slack off wearing a screen mask. I guarantee you that person in the Ghostface mask is not even a student. They just hacked in and they're just listening to what you all are talking about, annoying the heck out of you. I'll be yelling at the screen, "This ain't funny. Take off the mask and do your work or leave."
He still didn't answer and just stared at the screen. Eventually, I told him he should just leave. He stayed there and continued to be quiet. Class ended a short time after that. Later that day, I was on my laptop doing homework, and I got a Zoom call from a name that I didn't recognize. It was early in the semester, and I wanted to see who it was, so I accepted the call. It was the kid in the mask again. When I opened the call, he was just staring at the screen. I quickly turned my camera off. Then he said something in the chat. He outright stated that he wanted to kill me. I thought this must be one of my friends messing with me, although I was unsure of how they would be able to do all of this.
No, I don't think it's one of your friends. That person literally means what he said. He's going to delete you because you were the one to speak up about him not doing anything. At this moment, I'll be like texting the professor or one of your friends just to see if they know who this person is, because this is ridiculous.
I asked who it was, and the person lifted their mask just so I could see their mouth and a little bit of their nose. It wasn't much, but I didn't recognize it as anyone that I knew at all. Then they lowered their mask back down and ended the call. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of creeped out. I texted a few of my friends and told them about what had happened. Some of them thought it was funny, but others seemed to think it was a serious thing. At almost midnight, I was just about to go to bed when I got another Zoom call from the same person. I was pretty irritated at this point, and I answered. I immediately said to the person, whoever it was, that if this was a joke, it wasn't funny, and I was tired of their nonsense. Then I said if they called me again, I was going to report them. They didn't respond, but just stared at the screen. This time, I noticed that the person calling was not on a computer like before, but seemed to be on a phone and was walking. They didn't acknowledge me at all until they typed something in the chat. It said, "Look out your door." I went over to the door of my dorm room and peeked out the peephole. Sure enough, I saw the scream mask staring right back at me. I jumped back after seeing it. I asked the person, "Who are you?" They said to open the door. I I told them they needed to leave now or I was going to call the police. I was hoping that would scare them off, but as soon as I said that, instead of leaving, they began trying to open the door.
Oh, okay, this guy really means business. He must have looked up your name in the college dorm registry and figured out where you were at. That's the only way I could come up with. But I am not opening up that door. Call campus police now.
Thankfully, I had locked it. They knocked on the door, but then began jiggling it with the lock. It sounded like they were trying to pick it. My dorm building was fairly old and still used a lock and key instead of your student ID card like some buildings did, so I was afraid they might be able to get in. I decided to call the police. I picked up the phone and then called. They said they were on their way. The man in the mask continued to jiggle the lock. I sat in the back corner of the room just watching the knob jiggle, hoping that it wouldn't open. But about a minute later, my biggest fear came true, and I heard the lock click and saw the door slowly open up. The man in the mask walked in. I told him I had called the police. He didn't seem to care, though. He slowly closed the door behind him and then started approaching me. As he was slowly walking towards me, he removed his mask fully from his head. It was a guy who looked to be college-aged, but I didn't recognize him at all. He kept getting slowly closer and closer. Then I heard several footsteps coming to the doorway and saw the police. They were able to get the man before he got to me in just enough time. He turned out to actually be a student that went to the university and was actually in my class. It was the creepiest thing that's ever happened to me.
Not only if I was the dean of that university, I would have him expelled, but I'll see to it that he gets mentally evaluated before he comes back. Because apparently he can't handle nobody messing with him, or he's socially awkward. I mean, if somebody asks if you're just going to do the work for the assignment, you shouldn't come back to them later after the class is over and say they're delete him. Must have forgot to take his mental meds or something. But thank God the cops showed up and grabbed him before he walked any closer to that person and went through with their threat of deleting them from the surf early. But let's get to story number 2.
A couple of months ago, I was talking to my friend Brooke on Zoom. We have known each other for a long time and grew up together. But recently, after graduating college, we went our separate ways and live on opposite ends of the country from each other. We try to FaceTime or Zoom call at least once a week to stay in touch. We were talking on one night, mainly about our jobs and life in general. We started joking around, and then I went to go get some food. I came back to my computer about 2 or 3 minutes later. When I arrived back at my screen, I could see that Brooke was gone from hers. I assumed she went to the bathroom or got something herself, and I sat there and waited. About 5 minutes went by, and she still didn't return, so I called out for her. I didn't hear a response, so then I texted her on her phone. But when I sent the text, I noticed her phone was still on her desk, because I saw it vibrate on my screen. She hadn't taken her phone with her. I waited a few more minutes, and she still didn't return.
Oh, crap. I guarantee you somebody was in her house, and when you walked off to go get a snack and come back, that was a perfect amount of time for that person to walk up and grab her, probably to kidnap her. That's bad.
I just sat there on my phone, looking through Instagram and eating. Then all of a sudden, I saw Brooke appear on my screen, running towards me, coming from her hallway. She appeared to be in a panic and looked like she had been crying. She looked at me briefly and then grabbed her phone from the desk and ran away again. I called out to her, but she ignored me. At that point, I decided to call her on her phone, but I got a busy signal. I kept calling her until finally she responded to me with a text, saying that she would call me back later. I was extremely worried and curious as to what happened, and finally around an hour later, she did call me back. What she explained was that when I got up to get my food on our Zoom call, she went to go get some as well, but when she was about to enter her kitchen, she saw a man hiding under the kitchen table in her apartment. She couldn't tell if he noticed her or not, so she ran into her bedroom and locked the door, not realizing that she didn't have her phone on her. Then, over the next few minutes, she heard the man moving around her apartment, even trying her doorknob 2 times, which she had locked. When she didn't hear him for a few minutes, she took a chance and ran back to her desk to get her phone before running back into her room and calling the police. They arrived 20 minutes later to find the man in her guest bedroom, hiding in a closet. He turned out to be homeless. I couldn't believe all of this was going on in the time that I called her, and I'm so glad that she's all right.
Yeah, I'm glad she's all right too, because that is creepy and disturbing to hear that once her friend got up to go get a snack as well, she saw a person hiding underneath her table. I mean, that would creep me out too, but if you try to confront that person, you never know, they'll be hostile and attack you or get up and run out the door quick. But thank God it wasn't no person to kidnap her. They were just homeless, but they didn't want to be seen. They should have picked a better spot than underneath the table. Talk about a close call right there.
The school year has just recently started for me. I am a high school junior, and we've had to start off the year with all online classes. So while my parents go to work, I stay home and go to classes on my laptop in my bedroom. Oftentimes, teachers will send the Zoom link through email, and you click it to join the class. One morning, I woke up and was extremely tired, which wasn't uncommon for me. I had stayed up late the night before playing video games. I rolled out of bed and walked to my desk. Then I opened my laptop to check my email. Sure enough, there was an email with the Zoom link, and I clicked on it. Zoom appeared to be opening up, but was taking an unusually long time to load. Just as I was about to go click something on the screen, it went all black, and then all bright green. Then I was taken to a strange-looking web page. It looked like Zoom, but in a warped way.
Oh, don't tell me somebody hacked that server and directed you to their page. I would get off of it quick before they put a virus or hack your computer somehow.
The quality was very low, and the squares where the people's heads would be were all distorted. I tried to move my cursor around, but it was frozen. Despite the low quality, I could see that I was being shown on the screen as well. I couldn't really make out anyone else's face on the screen except my own. I was so confused and had no idea what was going on. I tried pressing escape and then Control-Alt-Delete on my keyboard, but nothing would happen when I did. Then a message was sent into the chat. It said welcome and then said my name. I tried typing, but my cursor was still frozen. I said out loud to myself, "What is going on?" Then I heard a deep voice say, "What do you mean, what's going on?" It sounded like somebody's voice that was put into a voice changer to make it sound warped. At that point, I realized that whoever was on this could hear me and see me. I got some tape from my desk and covered up my webcam. Then strange gibberish started being typed in the chat. I was too creeped out and decided to turn off my computer. I pushed the power button, but still nothing happened. I was starting to panic. Finally, I reached underneath the laptop and removed the battery, and it lost power.
Yes, I was just about to say that. If you have a hard time trying to turn the laptop off with the power button, I guarantee you whoever was hacking your computer screen was able to control all the power functions of the keyboard stuff too. Hence why you couldn't move your cursor and type anything. So you take the battery off, the hacker would have a hard time trying to operate it. I will give it at least an hour before you put it back in because you never know, he might still be on.
I didn't attend any of my online classes that day, and later told them I had technical problems. When my dad got home from work, I told him all about what happened. We went back to my computer and turned it on, and it was back to normal. However, I saw the email link that I had clicked was not actually from my school, but a random email account. I didn't have any more problems after that until a couple of days later when I got a text message from a random number. It was an image. When I opened it, I saw it was a picture of myself taken from my webcam. That was just a few days ago, and nothing else has happened. I'm hoping it stays that way.
I guarantee you it was a computer hacker that sent you that link thinking that it was your school class Zoom call meeting link. You would know if it was them if it had their school name attached to it on the email. That would be creepy just to get a text message with the photo of you covering up your webcam from that night. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more Nighttime Spooks related content like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man's Core channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and that's a wrap. And have a nice day, y'all.